We are in sunny Fullerton, California this afternoon for Western Conference action in MLS Next Pro. It's a potential championship contender in LAFC 2, hosting Portland Timbers 2. And we welcome you into Titan Stadium this afternoon. Sam Goldfarb here, excited to bring you all of the action in this Pacific Coast clash between LAFC 2 and Timbers 2. An afternoon kick between these two Pacific foes. Well, this game, a lot of stakes when you look at the Western Conference standings. Portland Timbers right around the playoff cut line. LAFC 2 contending for a potential Western Conference championship. It makes for a really intriguing clash here this afternoon. You see LAFC 2 currently sits in fourth position. Depending on results elsewhere, a victory today in regulation could take them as high as second after Tacoma Defiance fell to Ventura County on Friday night. Meanwhile, Portland Timbers 2, they are level with Vancouver Whitecaps 2 for that eighth and final postseason spot. The difference right now, goal difference. But remember, Timbers 2 did beat Whitecaps 2 on penalties earlier this year. So high stakes for both squads, well in the thick of the postseason race. Let's jump into our starting 11s here on MLSNextPro.com. LAFC 2, not too many changes, just two on the cards. Tamir Radoviz enters the fray in the heart of midfield, and David Ochoa back between the sticks after being with the first team a couple weeks ago in that victory over Ventura County. Of course, you got to look out for the flanks. Whenever you look at LAFC 2, Luis Mueller is the joint second top goal scorer in MLS Next Pro. Nathan Ordaz also scoring last time out against Ventura County FC. On the flip side, looking for the visitors, Portland Timbers 2. They've made a few more changes following that 4-3 defeat against MNU FC 2 last Sunday. The biggest one, Trey Muse back between the sticks. He was with the first team in Columbus last week. Also, Jaden Jones-Riley slots into that right back role. Also change in midfield with Adolfo Enriquez returning to the starting 11 for the first time since picking up that red card a couple weeks ago against St. Louis City 2. Well, we are just about set for kickoff here from Titan Stadium in Fullerton, the campus of Cal State Fullerton, just about a 30-minute shot down the road from Los Angeles. Oddly enough, these two squads met last night. The first teams met. It was a 3-2 victory at BMO Stadium for LAFC. That was a thrilling match. If today is anything like last night, we will be in for quite appointment television here in Next Pro. Well, for Timbers 2, it's one victory on the year. LAFC 2, they have been dominant. 3 wins in their opening 5. Added a 4th victory on shootout. But just 4 points separate the two sides so far. We were remiss, we didn't mention Nathan Fogassa returns here for Portland Timbers 2 as well. He leads this line. He had the brace against Rapids 2 on April 14th. Player Serge Dinkota praises for his professionalism. And here we go. LAFC 2 in the black and gold, going from left to right on your screen. At Timbers 2, the yellow with the green hoops going right to left. Just waiting the referee's signal to begin action in the first of 2 meetings between these Western Conference squads this season. And underway from Titan Stadium, LAFC 2 and Timbers 2 locking horns for the first time since 2023. Sam Goldfarb here with you every step of the way. Excited to bring you all of the action here this afternoon on MLSNextPro.com. An LA squad that is off to a flyer after frankly struggling last year. Timbers 2 squad that has sputtered a bit out of the gates, but plenty of time to right the ship. For LA, last time out, April 14th, the 2-1 victory over Western Conference leaders Ventura County FC in El Trafichico. Nice little crosstown rivalry. And how about this? An early yellow card already shown to what appears to be Luis Mueller for that late challenge. Well, not without early action, is it? Just comes in aggressively here on Enriquez, and yeah, it's a textbook yellow. It is not Mueller who ultimately is dealt the yellow. Instead, it's Nathan Ordaz, his winger counterpart on the right flank. So an early man in the book for Junior Gonzalez's squad.
Fans, a yellow card has been issued. In the second minute of play, to number 27, San Jose Football Club.
For LA, they jumped out to a 2-0 advantage over Ventura County FC. Ordaz and Mueller scoring the goals. And if you were watching a couple weeks ago, Luis Mueller's free kick, sensational. One of the goals of the week in match week 5. It wasn't without late drama, but they got the job done. Here's the cross from Ordaz, knocked out of play for the match's first corner. Side in LA that has feasted on set-piece opportunities so far this year. It'll be Mueller to take what appears to be an in-swinger. Curling towards the heart of the area. It's stood up by Ferdinand, only as far as Shakir Nixon, the right back here this afternoon. Mueller. Always the danger man at the controls. It slid through to Ordaz. Tries it first time, and well, no real test for Trey Muse that time around. Clever bit of interplay here. It starts with Mueller, slides it through it in the half space, and Ordaz times his run well, but I think Junior Gonzalez will be telling him in film tomorrow to cut that one back, because that was an audacious effort from a tight angle. Not that Ordaz can't finish, though. He's a terrific frontline player who's on the fringes of the first team.
So probably at the end of first half, you also
When talking to Junior Gonzalez about that victory over Ventura County, said he felt they did really well out of possession. It's an adaptive LAFC squad, and they decided to sit back and absorb more pressure and kind of opt to counter. Did it to perfection. Scored 2 goals on opposite ends of halftime. We're pegged back in the 83rd and had to deal with some late nervousness. Felt it could have maybe been a little more comfortable, but he was overall pleased with the performance as well as the start to the season so far. It's a massive turnaround for an LA squad that managed just 28 points in as many matches in their debut MLS Next Pro campaign a season ago. Here's the first touch for the danger man for Portland, Kyle Linares, to Harvey Neville on the overlap. Cut back, and Timbers to have a corner now. Their first of the afternoon.
good run, Harvey! You were farther away from the play.
Timbers attack that blasted 3 goals past MNUFC 2 last weekend. But unfortunately, the defense was pulverized in the second half. Carlos Harvey hat trick. Neville whips this in, an in-swinger to the back stick. Cleared only as far as Mendoza. And here's Linares. Twisting through traffic. Links well with Fogasa. Closed down admirably in the end. If you're just joining us, welcome to the action on MLSNextPro.com. A pair of Western Conference squads in the Pacific Coast in their first meeting of 2024. 2 teams split the 2 meetings on their respective home grounds a year ago. Timbers 2 won the first matchup. 2-0 in Portland last April. Last September, LAFC 2 thrashed the Timbers 4-0 here at Titan Stadium. Here is the first touch for a popular figure for LAFC fans, Eddie Segura. Once a mainstay in the first team. He's working his way back from multiple knee surgeries. His return to competitive action 16 months after suffering the first knee injury. The Western Conference semifinals in 2022. Making his second straight start for the second team here in Next Pro. He is a fan favorite, someone who always helps out with the local community. He's 27 years of age, plenty of time to make a good long career in the MLS ranks. Here's the captain, Ferdinand, for Portland. Linares working on Nixon. Shuffles beyond him. Has some space along the byline. Requires late intervention from Rosales, but ultimately took the final touch off Linares. Well, there's the return of David Ochoa to the 11 for LAFC2. He was with the first team the last time they featured against Ventura County. Unused substitute as a result. Ochoa is someone who enjoyed so much early success in his career in the MLS. Ultimately, fell out of favor with Real Salt Lake. But in many ways, Junior Gonzalez says he's taken this new opportunity with LAFC2 as a second lease on his MLS career. Junior Gonzalez praises him for his newfound attitude about his development. It's been terrific this year as well. The numbers certainly suggest that. Here's Fogasa. Another man for Portland on the fringes of that MLS outfit. Looks long towards Tomas Angel. Enriquez. Over to Christian Mendoza, 17-year-old out of the Timbers Academy. Transgression from Musto. Mueller. Picks out a runner, it's Duenas. Has options ahead. Nixon. Ordaz. Clever run into half space. Radoviz is looking for a runner. Comes free to Fogasa, who's got space on the counter. Runs into a thicket of defenders. No whistle from the head official. Perhaps went down too easily for her liking. End to end so far in the opening 10 minutes. It's made for a lively one. Still awaiting the match's first proper opportunity, though. Good ball here from Segura. There's numbers. We're looking for Angel. It comes through to Ordaz. To the edge of the area for Mueller. Getting him in dangerous spaces. So far, the center back pairing of Rad and Ferdinand holding up, though. A duo that has started every match together for Timbers 2 thus far this season. It's an interesting anatomy of the respective squads. Timbers 2 has rotated a little, but their back line largely stable throughout the season. LAFC has rotated at will over the course of the campaign. Ordaz has space, is looking through. It takes a deflection and should go out for a corner after the effort there from Eric Duenas, the 19-year-old. It's a quick break here for Ordaz, who's been involved in everything so far on the right flank. I believe he was trying to square it to Angel and maybe left it a little far in front of him. Either way, another set piece for the black and gold. Mueller to take once again from the near side. Near post. Nearly stumbled Frida Rosales. We were briefly touching upon it. For Portland, yes, their center forward spot has been one they've rotated heavily, but the wingers in Bunbury and Linares have started together the last month or so. The midfield's been relatively stable with the exception of necessary changes due to the Enriquez red card a couple weeks ago. This is an outfit where their roster and their squad is largely defined. For LAFC, they've played about 2 or 3 different center back pairings in just their opening 5 matches. But still, despite the rotation, Junior Gonzalez's squad producing results. That's the philosophy of the club as well. They want to give the younger guys opportunities in the first team. A lot of players who were with the inaugural U12 squad when the club first started, now starting to break into these next pro ranks. Junior Gonzalez says, if my stars at the next pro level make their way into the first team, I've done my job. I'm happy with the results, even if I lose a quality player for my squad. Ferdinand roving forward and wins a set piece. And we'll see what the official does. Ultimately, no caution shown. Duenas has been at the center of everything so far for LAFC. Neville stands over this set piece for Timbers too. Towards the back post, ultimately way too tight on Ochoa to cause any trouble. And last night, the two teams locked horns at BMO Stadium. 3-2 victory for LAFC. The first team, that is, in the MLS level. Next pro side hoping to replicate that. They've bossed the lion's share of the ball, but Timbers 2 is happy to play direct. Gotten Fogasa into a couple dangerous positions so far. Fans, this portion of the match is brought to you by BMO, official bank of LAFC. Beautiful day for soccer in the mid-60s here at Titan Stadium in Fullerton, California. No score between LAFC and Timbers 2. In which Portland has had to pick their spot so far going forward. No glaring chances either way just yet, though. Here's Enriquez. Part of a midfield trio of teenagers, 17-year-old and two 18-year-olds in the midfield three for Portland today. It's an 18-year-old in Enriquez. He was not quite on the same wavelength as Linares. Quarter of an hour gone here from Fullerton. Cagey affair so far. Mueller. Nixon. Ordaz has been the danger man so far. And in weaves the 20-year-old. Brings it wide for Bombino. Chipping towards Ordaz. Wrestling match with Neville. The latter doing enough to limit the damage to a throw. Neville, of course, the son of former Inter Miami headman Phil. Nephew of Gary, star right back for Manchester United for years. Radoviz weasels down the right-hand flank. Now it's one back, long-range effort. Well, it drew the attention of Trey Muse. A snapshot, if you will, for Musto. Kind of a broken build here. Musto just lashes at it. Muse saw it late. Only thing he can do is punch it out for a corner. The third of the match already inside the opening 20 minutes for Luis Mueller and company. Towards the near stick. Bounces free. And the follow-up cross will not cause any danger whatsoever. Well, it must be said, in comparison to last week, Portland building through the pressure with a lot more aplomb. Serge Dinkota expected it from Minnesota last week, but ultimately they were pinned inside their own half for large spells of the match. It was a 4-3 defeat to Minnesota United FC2. They took a 2-1 lead in halftime. Mateo Bunbury, who's in the 11 today for Portland, scored a brace in the span of 6 minutes to pull Portland in front before halftime, but it was a Carlos Harvey second half hat trick in the final 30 minutes, which pretty much ended Portland's hopes of the 3 points. Linares had a late rocket, which was sight for sore eyes, but ultimately came too little too late in second half stoppage time. Hoping for a better performance this week. For Angel, who's been on an island here early. Ferdinand has kept him in his pocket so far. Quality forward play runs through his blood. His father, Juan Pablo, of course, a legend for New York Red Bulls. Said that sometimes he feels the pressure. It can be daunting to live up to the legacy, but it's fit in well with LAFC2 so far. It's his second start. Comes Harvey Neville on the overlap for Portland. Fogasa. Linares.
So, there's that's for number 42.
Rosales for LAFC, a captain who's been with the club since he was 10 years old. And that inaugural U12 side, there are about 3 or 4 players on this LAFC2 roster who regularly start. And began their days with the club back in 2016 before BMO Stadium was built. Were sold on a dream, and now steps away from it becoming a reality. This comes loose. Mendoza's got space. Cuts it back. Low driver ultimately into the thicket. Effort from Bunbury won't trouble many. Midway through this first half, still awaiting that first eye-popping opportunity. LAFC2's had the lion's share of the half chances, but nothing Trey Muse has been legitimately concerned about. Neville's beginning to progress more forward. Norris looking to switch the play. Jones-Riley's header, just beyond the path of Bunbury. Fans, this portion of the match is brought to you by CarMax, car buying reimagined. We briefly alluded to the coaching match today. Junior Gonzalez joining the club after a stint with Chicago Fire as an assistant. So much experience at the highest level. He's now been on both sides of El Tráfico as the interim and then later full-time head man of LA Galaxy from 2019 to 21. LA Galaxy 2, I should say. The 26, 25, and 12 record. Reached 2 USL playoffs during that span. Said last weekend wasn't really weird for him at all, though. He's one back up fields. Hill went down briefly. To the Ventura County meeting, it was cool to see some of his former players that he developed, but he bleeds LAFC now. He's just happy to be back in his hometown in an area where he knows the players really well and so many existing relationships. Including, of course, with LAFC headman Steve Cherundolo. Here's Radoviz. Sliding it through for Ordaz. Closed down by Neville on his left. Still no space to surge into in that penalty area, even when they counter. Fogasa gonna surge the other way. Adventurous ball for Linares. They'll come back to the earlier foul after Fogasa's shirt was tugged. Professional from Thomas Musto. Junior Gonzalez, of course, an existing relationship with Steve Cherundolo. Said he was grateful for the opportunity, and he's grateful for how the club has backed him as well. Luis Mueller, in many ways, devised the model of LAFC2. They bring in a lot of academy products and develop them. They don't sign players much outside of the existing confines of the club. But Mueller playing for Cal Baptist last season, a decorated career there, a player Junior Gonzalez had his eyes on for multiple years. Said he was the top target for this team, and he's grateful for how the club has backed him, and it was an emotional moment for himself and Luis last week after Luis Mueller made his MLS debut as a substitute. Played 1 minute last night as well. It's been a happy marriage so far for Coach Gonzalez and the LAFC club brass. Ordaz. Duenas picks out Mueller. Has some space. Early cross. Was hunting Ordaz's head. Pings free to Bunbury. On the other side of things for Portland, Serge Dinkota in many ways, in many respects, a coaching prodigy when he began his career at the CF Montreal Academy. Was the youngest academy head coach during his time in his native Canada. He's now in his 6th season on the Portland Timbers staff, but this is his first as the head man of the next pro outfit. Timbers 2 side that dates back nearly a decade, began competing back in 2015. When you talk to Serge Dinkota, he doesn't just speak about the desire to win matches. He speaks about his desire to develop people. He says coaching is the medium through which he does that. And obviously they want to secure results. That is the ultimate objective. He says his #1 goal is to develop quality human beings that happen to have footballing ability. Here's Nixon. Twisting the Screws are the hosts. Still have yet to find a way through. Neville read that perfectly from Ordaz. Half an hour gone here from Titan Stadium in Fullerton, California. Sunny afternoon here for a 1 p.m. kick. LAFC 2 has their sights towards the top of the Western Conference table. Portland Timbers 2 looking to charge back into the postseason hunt. Top 8 teams reach the playoffs this year in their respective conferences. Next Pro, so many new innovations. Not just the rules with the time substitution rule and the off-field treatment rules, but also with the playoffs. Top 4 seeds get to pick their opponent. Makes for unique tension come postseason time. Perhaps bulletin board material as well. Here's Nixon on the overlap. Cross cleared only as far as Tommy Musto. It is a patient build thus far for Coach Gonzalez's bunch. Radovic. Loose touch for Ordaz. Fans, this portion of the match is brought to you by DoorDash, exclusive on-demand delivery partner of LAFC. Right now, both sides hoping to deliver a goal on a platter, as there's been no way through the respective center back pairings. Ferdinand and Rad have been the more heavily tested of the bunch so far. Not much for Segura and Rosales to do on the opposite side of things. They may be called into action here, though. Linares slides it through to Fogasa. Surveys for options. Looking to cut it back, and it heads out of play for a second Portland corner of the afternoon. Neville will take once again. It'll be an in-swinger on his right foot. Here comes the near post cross. Cleared only as far as Neville. Linares just unable to lift that beyond the first line of defense. Jones-Riley on the far side. Keeps it in play, but can't find the head of Bunbury. We've got some MLS Next Pro style Cascadia Cup action for you. LAFC2 continue their fight for the top of the Western Conference table May 5th when they travel to Utah to face the Real Monarchs. Our live coverage from Zions Bank Stadium begins at 9 p.m. Eastern only on MLSNextPro.com. Here's the ball through to Ordaz. Nixon looking towards Mueller. Cross accuracy will be a point of emphasis at halftime, no doubt. A few overcooked crosses. Ordaz keeps this in play, though. Wiggling along the touchline. Slight nibble from Neville. Referee is unmoved, and understandably so. Fans, we've got some MLS Next Pro style Cascadia Cup action for you on MLS Season Pass May 3rd at 5 p.m. Eastern when Cyprian Cachuele leads Whitecaps 2 to the Rose City to face T2 at Providence Park. A busy stretch of matches for Portland Timbers 2. Haven't really had a breather since mid-March, right around when the season started. LAFC 2 had a week off. Junior Gonzalez said, in many respects, it came at a bad time. They were just starting to hit their stride. Obviously, it toppled the Western Conference leaders. Felt they hit their form. On them to remain locked in during this stretch. Had a lot of the ball, but haven't quite manufactured a way through that Portland back line just yet. Long ball from Rosales, was hunting Ordaz. Comes to the feet of Angel. Radoviz slicing through, cuts it back to Mueller. Just couldn't get his feet underneath it. the black and gold continuing to build, having their moments in the half space. Harvey Neville now is slow to get up, and well, if he can't return to his feet, the off-field treatment rule comes into effect. Remember, fans, if they don't choose to substitute here now that the physios are coming on the pitch, Harvey would have to sit out for the next 2 minutes. Portland would play a man down in that time. All part of MLS Next Pro's incentives to reduce gamesmanship. We certainly hope Neville is all right. He's put forth a terrific performance so far for Portland on both ends of the pitch. Has dealt with the Ordaz assignment admirably.
3 more minutes, girls. 3 more minutes.
Well, Neville, 21 years of age, finally gets to his feet. So now that the medical staff entered the field of play, Harvey Neville will have to stand on the touchline for the next 2 minutes before he can return. Does not appear that they will be making any substitution at this time.
It's supposed to be the older brothers. They're making about Braxton.
Well, it's supposed to be.
Well, this is a rule that is so effective. It was implemented in MLS on a trial basis ahead of last weekend's matches. When you look at the numbers, there were 6 instances of stoppage per match prior to this rule due to injury. That counts any delay of 15 or more seconds due to a potential injury. It's been knifed down to just 1.22 per match. That was last season's numbers in 2023, and when a new rule comes into effect and it has staying power, those numbers will probably go down even further. Here's Nixon. Portland's going to be forced to stretch their back line over the coming minutes. Rosales quickly through for Radoviz, goes down to the box. Referee points to the spot. LAFC's won a penalty just 7 minutes before halftime. Tamir Radoviz going down in the box and winning this penalty. He's made this nice little run into the half space, right around the right side of the area multiple times tonight. Rad is late to catch up to it. And ultimately a point to the spot from the head official. So a half where LAFC struggled to build through the ironclad Portland back line. They've got a golden opportunity to break the deadlock. And it is their center forward, Tomas Angel, a native of Colombia, standing over this. It's his second Next Pro start for the club. Angel against Muse. And he slots it underneath them. Tomas Angel opens the scoring for LAFC2, his first goal in the Next Pro competition. Well, you would expect nothing less from the son of a legendary striker. Tomas Angel getting the job done from 12 yards. Stands over this. Just good placement with his left foot into the bottom left corner. Muse guesses the right way, but unable to pounce on it. And Angel opens his account for the Next Pro campaign, his first of the season. Well, you can't say it isn't deserved. LAFC2's been on top pretty much the entirety of these first 40 minutes. The beneficiary, a product of Atlético Nacional in Colombia, Tomas Angel. Mention his father's legacy, born in Birmingham, England, when his father was playing at Aston Villa. Then he went to Red Bulls trainings with his dad when he played for the New York Red Bulls. We mentioned living up to the legacy in many respects has been difficult for him at times, but enjoying his football as Neville's back on the pitch. His cross touched out of play. It'll go out for a Portland corner. But Angel himself, plenty of success. He had 8 goals and 2 assists with his club in Colombia prior to moving to LAFC ahead of this season. He was also named to the Guardian's Next Generation 2020 list for players born in 2003. Someone who's played in the most competitive environments in South America, now making his trade in LA. Neville to deliver this outswinger. Portland chasing an equalizer now. Fogassa has some space, cuts it back. Ferdinand had a big opportunity and got underneath it too much. And you can see the frustration from him as well, because that was a golden chance for an equalizer. Corner itself was dealt with decently, but Fogassa doing well to manufacture a chance. Pinpoint cutback, and I think Ferdinand heard the footsteps because Segura was bearing down. Just trying to slide it over him, but a little too much on it. That was the best chance of the match for Portland, a matter of minutes after Angel's opener. And Ferdinand goes down on the challenge. Well, fans, if you're just joining us, 44th minute on the Sharka halftime here from Titan Stadium. Tomas Angel moments ago opening the scoring from 12 yards. That is currently what separates these two sides in this Western Conference clash. Third ever battle between Timbers 2 and LAFC 2. Fogassa has been an involved man so far early for Portland. The target man as part of their direct attack. Mendoza. Gotta wonder how Serge Dinkota's side approaches the coming half. They seemed content to operate as the direct countering side for the bulk of these opening 40 minutes and let LAFC extend themselves, but now that the hosts have broken the deadlock, you've got to wonder if they start to chase this. Final minute of the initial 45 here from Titan Stadium. It'll be 3 minutes of added time to close this first half. An opportunity to throw more caution to the wind if you're Portland. Musto. That's Bombino on the far side. Dueñas. Perhaps time for one or two final attacks from the black and golds. Rosales, here's Ordaz. Mueller. Looking to slither inside. He's marked well by Jones Riley. And here's Bunbury. Chance to counter here, and well, just mistimed that pass to Nathan Fogasa. Played it when he was trying to curl his run back onside. Final minute of the added 3. Opening 45 that LAFC will be proud of on the possession front. Perhaps the penalty overshadowing their struggles to build through the heart of that Portland back line. Heavy challenge from Neville sends him in the book. First Timbers player on a yellow card here today. And while this is textbook, Ordaz and Neville have been the matchup to watch all afternoon. Neville's boot comes late trying to win the ball. Ordaz sells it well, and 9 times out of 10, you'll see the yellow card brandished for similar offenses. One final chance here for LAFC 2 before the intermission. Here's Bombino. Sit back for the goal scorer, Angel. Linares. Looking for one final break for Portland before the half. Halftime whistle sounds. Well, a cagey affair, but Tomas Angel's 40th minute penalty making the difference for an LAFC squad that has been dominant on the possession front, but still looking to flash some of that final third quality. They'll still be content with the result at halftime, a 1-0 lead for the hosts over Portland Timbers 2 after 45 minutes of action from Titan Stadium. Fans, our score at the half is 1-0 LAFC. Coming up, Michelle takes us to New Jersey when we come back after a short break.
Really sweet. Ahí está el centro. Gol. Maxi Mesa para pegarle. Maxi le pegó. Fuerza. Al frente. Servicio. It's saved by Carlos Corner. Con autoridad el centro. A la izquierda en las afueras del área. Le pega. Golazo. Externa, va a definir Chicho.
Welcome back. Our halftime score is LAFC 2-1, Portland Timbers 0. here in Titan Stadium in Fullerton, California. Hey fans, Michelle Montaigne took a recent trip to New Jersey to visit with New York Red Bulls 2 head coach Ibrahim Sagaya. Here's what she found out about the former Ugandan national team captain.
Today we welcome you inside of the New York Red Bulls training facility. I am Michelle Montaigne, joined by Ibrahim Sagaya, a name that is synonymous with the Red Bulls organization. Coach, you've been such a big part of this club for so long, and it's been such a big part of your life. In your current role as the head coach of Red Bulls 2, what's the most important part to you about getting to really help shape this next generation of players in this club that means so much?
No, I think the most important thing to see the young boys coming up. I think this is the role for us, like with my staff, being the head coach for the second team and seeing the young players coming from our academy going into the first team. Some like traveling away from here to go to another clubs in Europe. This is the most interesting when you see the young players growing up. We had a bunch of players been here for long, seeing Tyler Adams where he is, Matt Miazika, a few along, you can see how they are, but seeing them when they are growing and where they are, this is the most important.
The whole point of this league is to get guys to that point, right? It's to see them get to the next level. But there's obviously a lot of pressure that comes with that. How do you help the guys who have maybe gotten some of that exposure manage that pressure while playing at this level?
No, for us here in the club, I think the most important we talk to the players is about the growing, about to understanding the way how the club works, how we want the players to grow into our system. This is the most important. We don't put too much players with the players. They have to enjoy also. But the most important to understand the next step where we want them to be, so that everything, as long as they understand the way how we play, this is the most important.
Couple guys who really understand how you play, Ibrahim Kasule, a couple other guys who are on this roster who are actually from your home country of Uganda. How would you describe the relationship you have with Ibrahim and Frank and Steven?
No, I can say I'm like a father to them. I've seen them growing up and getting the players like that to get a chance to be into this organization. Kasule has done a fantastic job with Steve and Frank. You can see where they are. Those are the players. We saw them at home, and I knew that they can be able to do what they are doing, and they are still growing up. I don't think they already seen what they have to do, but they are still growing up. It's exciting to see them, and this gives another young players like the country where they're coming from, so that they can get a chance.
How did you know?
Yeah, I went back home, and then I saw them when they are playing, but the connection which I have from my country is big when I see them and then talk about the club, and I knew that they can grow from here, and the club, we saw what they have. They are fantastic players.
Coming over to the United States from a different country, I know there's got to be some time for that acclimation process to take place. How do you help them get used to like the burgers, the food, the new people, everything's new? How do you help them adjust?
I think for them, it's a different. I think the time they came here, I was here, and I have been out for so long, I understand it. And I think the United States is a different country. They have all foods. We can find what they want to eat, but the best way is me being here. I think I help them a little bit, and I have family here. We try to cook our food home, and then from there. But now they understand, they eat the food which we need them to be eating.
Are you telling me that you cook sometimes?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, favorite thing to cook, or best thing you can cook?
It's gonna be difficult for you to understand because it's a food from our country.
Yeah.
Yeah, they call it matoke.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
matoke.
I have some research to do. All right, Coach, I know it's early in the second season for you guys, but how have you seen your club, the league, evolve in just the amount of time that Red Bulls 2 has been part of MLS Next Pro?
No, it's growing. I think the first year when we came in, we are trying to understand the way the league, but I think every year, for me, the first year, we'll try to understand the rules, the way how it's going, and then now we're in the second year where we feel like we understand well. And the teams, every team is growing up now. We see a lot of teams, they have good players, younger players are coming. I think this is the league which we see is going to be growing up in a couple of years coming. There are a lot of talent players in there, a lot of clubs.
We're excited to see the league continue to grow, and of course, you guys continue to grow with it. Coach, thank you so much for the time.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Our first half highlights and stats are next, but first we'll step aside for a quick break.
Dale pues, mamá ya, muévete más loco como solo tú lo sabes. Así es, con las manos en la cabeza, sacúdete, sacúdete, mira, sacúdete.
Really sweet. Ahí está el centro. Un gol. Para Maxi Mesa para pegarle. Maxi le pegó. Puerta. Al frente. Servicio. El tiro. It's saved by Carlos. Con autoridad. El centro. A la izquierda en las afueras del área. Le pega. Golazo. Parte externa va a definir Chicho.
Hello fans, welcome back here from Titan Stadium where LAFC 2 leads Timbers 2 1-0 at halftime, courtesy of Tomas Angel's 40th minute penalty, making all of the difference. Well, let's take a look at some of the standout moments from the opening half. It was a cagey affair, a lot of half chances early on. LAFC 2, though, was on top for the bulk of it. This was a nice snapshot there from Thomas Musto. There were a couple half chances for Portland. This was the biggest one, trailing 1-0. Fogasa making his way down the byline. Cuts it back for Keyshawn Ferdinand, but unable to secure the swift reply. And then this is where the penalty ensued. Tamir Radovi's brought down in the penalty area. That sets up Angel on the penalty spot. It's a low driver into the bottom left. Muse guessed the right way, but unable to keep it from surging into the back of his net. And that is what separates these two Western Conference foes after 45 minutes of action. LAFC 2 has been the better side in terms of possession and half chances, but didn't quite have any breakthrough before that penalty. Here is your look at the first half stats. LAFC 2, better pass accuracy, double the number of shots. Timbers 2, still awaiting that first shot on goal. The big difference is fouls. Only one yellow card either way, though. A lot of chippy fouls that don't warrant the officials' attention just yet. LAFC 2 pressing a lot, so that explains the foul disparity. Well, that's where we stand after 45 minutes. We're going to take one final break before we come back and take a look around the league here on MLSNextPro.com.
Dale pues, mamá ya, muévete más loco como solo tú lo sabes. Así es, con las manos en la cabeza, sacúdete, sacúdete, mira, sacúdete.
Messi. La pelota para que really sweet. Ahí está el centro. Un gol. Para Maxi Mesa para pegarle. Maxi le pegó. Huerta, Andretti, servicio, el tiro.
It's saved by Carlos Corner.
Con autoridad, el centro. A la izquierda en las afueras del área le pega, golazo.
Amor al gol.
Parte externa, va a definir Chicho.
All right, MLS store, I need something fresh and clean. Let's see what you got. I need that in my size. It's not like this. Cream on cream? The fit is cold. I'm ice cream. You like that?
We welcome you back to Titan Stadium in Fullerton, California, where at halftime, LAFC 2 leads Timbers 2, 1-0 courtesy of Tomas Angel's 40th minute PK, which makes the difference between these two sides. Well, it's been a busy stretch throughout MLS Next Pro. Here's your look at the Match Week 7 scores and schedule. The big ones that stand out. How about Ventura County prevailing on a penalty shootout, coming back from 2-0 down to defeat Austin FC 2 on Friday night. Also, the Battle of the Independents goes Chattanooga's way yesterday. Looking at next Friday, a packed slate. Atlanta United 2 and New York City FC 2 square off. Timbers 2, meanwhile, they're going to host Vancouver Whitecaps at 5 p.m. Eastern. So a busy stretch for all of these clubs here on MLS Season Pass. Well, just about set for the start of the second half. Serge Dinkota's side looking for answers after a first half in which they manufactured very few opportunities. LAFC 2 looking to continue their push towards the top of the Western Conference. A lot hangs in the balance here over the remaining 45 minutes and change in this contest, with both squads looking to jockey for position in the Western Conference standings. In that first half, chances few and far between. LAFC 2 had the lion's share of possession, had some half chances, but you've got to give credit to Keyshawn Ferdinand and Kaveh Rad in the opening 40. They were a brick wall. Nobody could really bypass them. All of the crosses didn't find their target for LAFC 2. But ultimately, the penalty, which put Angel on the spot, made the difference. It was a tough break for Portland, but didn't really threaten the other direction, and they were under it for large spells of that opening half. Fogasa stands over it. Portland now going left to right on your screen. LAFC 2 going right to left. 45 minutes to determine the point distribution in this Western Conference clash. One change here for Timbers 2. Harvey Neville, who is on a yellow, will vacate. Meanwhile, Blake Pope, who started the previous 3 games at right back, is now in for Neville at left back. So that's your change. Kind of a like-for-like swap, although Pope playing on a different flank than he's used to. Pope's an attack-minded fullback, as is Neville. Neville had a good first half, but picked up the yellow card and also dealt with a bit of a knock earlier in the half, so you can't blame Serge Dinkota for replacing him there. Pretty clean opening 45, though. Just 1 yellow either way. Kelsey Harms had a pretty respectful contest to mitigate. Here's Dueñas for LAFC 2. Bombino bombing forward from left back. Dueñas tries it himself. It was a flashing effort, but not one that troubled Muse in any way, shape, or form. Well, they're trying to pick up where they left off, building quickly here. Bombino providing support. He tucks a defender inside. That opens up the ball to Dueñas. Really no trouble for the man between the sticks and Muse, who, other than the penalty, has been largely untested this afternoon. Muse has so much pedigree between the sticks for Portland Timbers too. Spent last season with Charleston Battery in USL Championship, and how terrific he was. A mainstay between the sticks, 13 clean sheets for a Battery squad that made a run to the USL Championship final. Here's Bombino with some space, drills it back across the edge of the area, just behind the path of Dueñas. Now this comes over the top towards Linares, sits up for Bunbury. He's looking back for Linares, but too much on it as he went down while passing. Regardless of how these 45 minutes turn out, you've got to give major credit to the midfield of LAFC2. The trio of Radoviz, Dueñas, and Musto have been terrific. Radoviz, of course, winning the penalty that led to the opener. Dueñas has been all over the shop all game, and Musto's been a steadying force as that CDM. Listed as the traditional six, venturing further upfield to anchor the press. It's won back again by Dueñas. Radoviz. Angel, the goal scorer, tucks it inside for Mueller. Weaves inside, and he ricochets it off the post. Well, Luis Mueller's first major opportunity of the match, and nearly snuck it in from an impossibly tight angle. I think Muse may be giving that left post a pat on the back. He had almost every inch covered except the closest edge of the near post. It's a good effort there from Luis Mueller. Who had a goal and an assist the last time out for LAFC2 in the win over Ventura County. Fogasa has options, searching for Bunbury. Winning the foot race that time is the goalkeeper David Ochoa. We alluded to his story earlier on. Someone who enjoyed so much success before his 22nd birthday and made 37 MLS apps, was the regular starter at just 20 years of age for Real Monarchs. Ultimately dealt with some troubles and fell out of the 11 before moving to Atlético San Luis in Liga MX. Returned to the MLS ranks this offseason. He's gotten a new lease on his MLS career, says Junior Gonzalez. Raves about his professionalism, the way he's approached playing with the next pro team after so much MLS first team experience. Says he's embraced it as a part of his development and is very pleased with his performance so far. Here's Angel as they win it back in the press. Nixon has some space on the right-hand side. He's looking for Mueller with the cross. Crossing accuracy, we mentioned it before the half. Has let LAFC2 down in some respects today. Those crosses have to be pinpoint, though. Well, if you're just joining us, 50 minutes gone here from Fullerton, California, on the campus of Cal State Fullerton, Titan Stadium. 1-0 lead for LAFC2, fourth place team in the Western Conference, looking to continue their push up the Western Conference table. Timbers 2, on the other hand, flirting with the postseason hunt right now. Results here would certainly help matters. Only to change the trajectory of affairs very quickly, because they've struggled to build out of the pressure at times and very few major opportunities in this match. 1-1 skied by Keyshawn Ferdinand in a tight window on a corner. Otherwise, not many chances. Ordaz tries from afar, and he had Muse diving to his near post. Not a bad opportunity here for Ordaz. Not about a nothing. Nobody closes him down, tries it on his right foot, nearly tucks that into the left corner of the net. Impressive effort with his weight distributed the opposite direction. Lashes at it quite sweetly. Bombino. Touch from Duenas. A well-timed challenge. That was less well-timed. Radovi's may be lucky to get off without a yellow card. Bang bang challenge. Radovi's doesn't go with the studs up, but gets a leg in the mix, and it is a textbook whistle. Plenty of intrigue surrounds these remaining 35 minutes and change. As tired legs start to set in, you figure this will open up. It's just a question of whether, unlike last week, Portland can capitalize on the more open nature of things. They're simply overwhelmed in the second half against MNUFC2. Carlos Harvey hat trick did them in after taking a 2-1 lead into intermission against a previously winless MNUFC2 squad, a team that had played 2 matches prior to that meeting. Pope is slow to get up here for Portland. Avoid the physios roaming onto the pitch for now. Pope. Fans, this portion of the match is brought to you by Ford. "55 minutes gone here from Titan Stadium. An affair that has not been filled with opportunities either way. A penalty kick separating the two teams. And Tamir Radovi is less than thrilled with the result of that challenge as Duenas is booked. Right into the back of Portland's midfielder. Second man in the book here for LAFC2. Well, the press has been a key part of the game plan for LAFC2, but Duenas probably could have held off on that challenge. Right into the back of Adolfo Enriquez.
Fans, the yellow card has been issued. to LAFC 2, number 18, Eric Rodriguez, 56 minutes.
Fogasa, some space, hits it. Ricochets right into Segura. Cleared only as far as Jones-Riley. This feels like the type of match a player like Fogasa could change with his finishing ability. Serge Dinkota last week raved about his skill set, said they don't score at least one of the 2 goals they scored against Rapids 2 in that victory without Fogasa's presence, who feasted on the counterattack twice in that match. Game in which Rapids 2 were on top for large spells. As Fogasa's clinical finishing made the difference. 24-year-old Brazilian native who joined from the USL Championship ranks this offseason. It's a long ball looking for Jones-Riley. Comes to the feet of Alexis Moreno. Fogasa charging ahead. It's just been snuffed out by the last line of defense with each run. Defender prone on the pitch as a result. Well, good to see Radovi's back to his feet. Uninvolved presence for LAFC 2. It's made that nice run in the half space. It's been a delayed run, delayed vertical run, which resulted in the penalty. Forward here for Mueller. Head on a swivel. It's brought down. Officials are unmoved. Dueñas. Musto. Ordaz. Over the top for him now. Looking for Radovis. Flicked along for Angel. Much needed intervention there from Pope and company. Moreno helping out as well. We've reached the hour mark here from Titan Stadium. Second half starting much like the first did. Both defenses very compact. For Portland, you'd figure that would have been a point of emphasis after last weekend's defeat against Minnesota United 2. For LAFC 2, the solid defense has characterized them all year. They've yet to keep a clean sheet, though, despite only allowing multiple goals twice this year. For Portland, they've kept one, but they've also been shelled on multiple occasions. Mention the importance of this fixture for both squads. Obviously still a lot of football left to be played on the next pro calendar. You can establish yourself in the postseason hunt comfortably by the summertime. One result won't completely demolish your standing as it would if you're right in the hunt. Great challenge there from Bunbury, draws the yellow. He's now the second man to be booked for Portland. It's a ball forward here. Bunbury loses out, and then after losing out, dangled the foot. And I think he's frustrated because the first challenge he didn't go into too aggressively. Radoviz was more assertive going into the challenge, but managed to sell the contact. Bunbury guilty by association, 2 men down in his presence. LAFC 2 readying substitutes, and it looks to be a pair of dynamic attackers. One of them, last season's top scorer in Leonardo Flores, the other Adrian Wibowo. Not too shabby a presence himself. And they'll sub those guys on now. So Wibowo making his first appearance since the 3rd match of the year. He had a 2-match hiatus entering today. Appears he'll spell Angel. Meanwhile, Leonardo Flores right back up to his center forward spot. A regular substitute this year, making his 6th feature of the season. So Dueñas, who's on a yellow, goes off in place of Wibowo. And Flores replaces Angel in that center forward spot, a like-for-like swap. The shape gets interesting now because Wibowo is more of a winger by trade. They've already got Ordaz and Mueller on the pitch. And there is Flores' first touch. 6 goals a season ago for LAFC 2. Dynamic finisher at that. Ordaz. LAFC 2 not playing defensive. They're going for the final blow. Wibowo is 18 years old, the product of the LAFC Academy. It's his first appearance since March 31st. He's on it right now as we speak. And ushers it out of play for an LAFC corner. Fans, this portion of the match is brought to you by Kaiser Permanente. Well, look out for Leonardo Flores in this situation, as there's a man down from Portland. Christian Mendoza quickly back up to his feet. Flores, 39 on your screen in black and golds. Product of Club Tigres, still in the midst of his 12-month loan. Joined last July. Scored 6 goals in just 10 appearances a season ago. True menace on the front line. Here's the in-swinger, near post to Segura. Comes loose to Nixon. For Flores over the top. Pings free to Ordaz. Has a hit. Ordaz! Well, he ricocheted the side netting. What an effort. And it's that man again. Nathan Ordaz, progressively more involved. Cuts in on his left foot. And oh man, ricochets the framework of the goal there. His 2nd effort from long range that has drawn Trey Muse's attention. Well, the substitution, the nature of the substitutions are pretty clear if you're an LAFC 2 fan. Full attacking mindset, trying to grab the second and kill the match off. Similarly to how they approached the Ventura County match last time out. But now Fogasa's got room on the break. Ordaz on the restart. Weaving inside, dishes it off to Wibowo. Now Mueller. Wanted the early cross. Great adjustment from Jones-Riley. Be a corner for LAFC 2, their 2nd of the half. There'll be one more change, this time for Portland.
Now entering the match, number 39, Tyler Clegg.
Tyler Clegg entering the fray for the second consecutive weekend. He'll replace Christian Mendoza in an interesting swap. A defensive midfielder in Mendoza vacates for a traditional center back in Clegg, product of James Madison in his second season with Timbers 2. Had a lovely ball, which ultimately led to Linares' rocket at the tail end of that match last week, but wasn't credited with an assist, strangely enough. You gotta wonder, with the addition of Clegg, are they going to a back three and allowing their fullbacks to bomb forward more? That would be the logical adjustment. And when you look at the shape, it seems that may very well be the case, because Rad is stretched further wide in an outside center back role. Clegg is anchoring the heart of that defense. So an adjustment from Serge Dinkoto. We'll see how that factors into the shape. Here's the switch of the play. Radovic. Ushers wide for Nixon. Now Ordaz. Good overlapping run from Nixon. Well, the penalty box will definitely be more and more clogged with the three center backs. What's tough about a back three is it can be very tough to break down, but also on the counter can be lethal because of the width you provide with your fullbacks. Radovic plays it off. Very involved in the build all afternoon. Clegg's 23 years of age, stands over this with his first proper touch of the match. Has featured off the bench now in the last 4 matches after not cracking the 18 in the opening couple of contests. Also didn't crack the 18 for the U.S. Open Cup defeat in the first round of El Farolito. Portland Timbers 2, the first victims of El Farolito on their Cinderella run to the 3rd round. Fell in extra time to USL Championship outfit Oakland Roots. They look long here for Flores. Flag stays down. Ordaz wants it from afar once more. You can already tell. Drives it low, and it takes a deflection. That could have been an unfortunate hop. Big sigh of relief as it goes out of play for a corner. Every time Ordaz cuts in on that left foot, I think everyone in the building knows what he's trying to do. Still really tough to close down. Here's the in-swinger from the corner. Too much pushing and shoving in the box for the officials' liking. Fans, this portion of the match is brought to you by Remitly, official global money transfer partner of LAFC. Inside the final 20 minutes of the initial 90, here from Titan Stadium in Fullerton, California. LAFC 2, a 1-0 advantage over Portland Timbers 2. Tomas Angel with the 40th minute penalty kick. The strike making the difference in what has been a cagey affair. LAFC 2 has been on the front foot the bulk of the match, trying to build through what has been a really tough back line to break down for Portland. Meanwhile, Timbers 2, less success on the counter than they've had in the first. There's a man down in that back three for Portland. Will Warren a physio. Appears that may be Alexis Moreno, and yes, it is. Gets into the challenge with Flores, and then feels the nibble after he plays it off. Perhaps a slight cramp in this Southern California sun. Right now, Moreno is one of the two center midfielders in the match for Portland. Timbers Academy product, 18 years of age, making his 4th consecutive start. Signed his first professional contract this offseason. And it appears to be a matter of dehydration as they tend to the cramp. So if they don't choose to sub him off, remember off-field treatment rule, that requires him to sit for 2 minutes. And for those with Mike Ross memories, in the first half, Harvey Neville went off with an injury. And in those 2 minutes he was off, LAFC2 won a penalty.
You got this, Braxton!
They finally helped Moreno to his feet. And they'll continue to work on that cramp in his calf. They'll make the change to avoid the 2-minute hit, and certainly hope that Moreno's all right. Very gingerly being helped off the pitch. Josh Penn replacing Alexis Moreno here. And in addition, Braxton Najib, the Draper, Utah native, coming in place of Moreno.
Nothing. Braxton's going in. 38.
So there were 2 changes there. Josh Penn replacing Mateo Bunbury on that right flank. Meanwhile, as Alexis Moreno is helped off with the cramping issues, he is replaced by Braxton Najib, a 21-year-old who was brought in from Inter Miami 2 this offseason. Made 53 appearances with the Inter Miami second team from 2021 to 2023. And 1 assist for Miami's second team back in 2023. Well, there's also a couple changes being made by LAFC2. One of them, Tabo Nair replacing Eddie Segura. Another positive shift in his return from injury. Club legend with traditional lockdown display. Meanwhile, Javen Romero, also a listed center back, entering the action.
Substitution. LAFC2 to 7. Number 48. Lavina Ragovic. Now in the match number 52. Siobhan Romero.
So Segura vacates for Tabo Nair. Additionally, Javen Romero into the action as well. Got rid of Tamir Radovic. Action-packed day for Radovic. Quality performance. He'll be replaced by Javen Romero, another LAFC Academy product. Listed center back. May be playing in center mid today, though. This is one back upfield by Musto. Comes free for Mueller, who has perhaps the most space he's had all afternoon here. Bombino. Mueller's onside. Little nutmeg on Ferdinand and wins the free kick as a result. This is cheeky from Luis Romero. No other way to describe it. Step over, puts it right through Ferdinand's legs, and then wins the foul as Ferdinand's obstructing him. It's a quality center back who was cast aside in that recent exchange. Musto and Mueller in the immediate vicinity of the set piece. It's whipped in by Musto. And can't quite clear the first line of defense by the near post. Well, for those wondering about the profiles on the new men in, Javen Romero, LAFC Academy products. As Muse claims this. His third appearance of the year. Went the full 90, though, against Tacoma Defiance at center back. He's 5'9". Has also played for Mexico in the U17 World Cup this past November. Mueller took a studs-up challenge from Ferdinand, and he's still down, but no whistle from the official. Eyebrow-raising, to say the least. Now slowly getting back up to his feet. So it appears the change is Romero's been moved back to center back. Rosales, the captain, now playing in that center defensive mid role. More than capable of playing center mid. Rosales started there to open the season against Minnesota United 2. Rubowo still with it. Comes loose. Ordaz. Wibowo drives it home, and LAFC 2 doubles their advantage. The substitute with a moment of glory for the black and gold. And that may be the final blow for Portland. Wibowo's second of the season. Adrian Wibowo, a man with a penchant for big goals, pops up with a massive one here. Heads up read by Ordaz to dish it off. It's a late close from Ferdinand, perfectly tucked into the bottom left corner by the 18-year-old out of LA. Well, good to see him back on the pitch. Someone who hadn't featured since late March, suffered an injury after scoring the opener against Rapids 2 on March 31st. On his return to the side, he scores the potential dagger in the 79th. Fans LAFC 2 continue their fight for the top of the Western Conference table. May 5th when they travel to Utah to face the Real Monarchs. Our live coverage from Zions Bank Stadium begins at 9 p.m. Eastern, only on MLSNextPro.com. Portland needs to push if they hope for any result from this contest. They'll have to change their trajectory of a match where they have frankly struggled to create chances.
By number 77, Adrian Wibowo.
Adrian Wibowo, most recently doubling LAFC 2's lead. Signed his first Next Pro deal ahead of this season. He ascended through the youth ranks in the academy system, played in the MLS Next All-Star game last year. And we mentioned the big goals. He scored the equalizer in the 89th minute that forced a penalty shootout, which the Western Conference team ultimately won. Here scores his second of the year for LAFC 2. There's one change here for Portland, and yes, they are chasing the match. It's a forward, Noah Santos, entering for a center back in Kaveh Rad. So Serge Dinkota's intent very clear with this substitution.
Fans, a yellow card has been issued to Timbers 2, player number 40, Jason Bernadette, in the 80th minute of play.
Inside the final 10 minutes here from Fullerton on the outskirts of LA. And moments ago, Adrian Wabowo with a lovely finish from outside the area to potentially wrap up the points.
You got it, Brax. Nice.
Here's Najib, his first proper touch of the match. Pope, Fogassa. Hasn't had a lot of space to uncork one. And unable to thread it through to Jones-Riley. That kind of match for the front three for Portland today.
Handball.
And the handball against Ordaz. You have to give credit to Ordaz on the goal as well, as Tyler Clegg at least tests the goalkeeper in Ochoa. Ordaz the entire match was not shy about letting it rip from distance. And a lot of them were good opportunities. Even Cannon one off the crossbar at one point. But he doesn't get tunnel vision on that last goal. He waits for the defense to commit, lays it off to Wabowo, who then has a more quality look at things and pops up with a really impressive finish. But the unselfishness of Ordaz and the recognition is what deserves some praise there too. This is kept in play by Portland. Rosales does enough to make himself an obstruction. Fans, we've got some MLS Next Pro Cascadia Cup action for you on MLS Season Pass May 3rd at 5 p.m. Eastern when Cyprian Cachuele leads Whitecaps 2 to the Rose City to face T2 at Providence Park. That is on May 3rd on Apple. MLS Next Pro season in full swing. The madness of the league has been on full display the last month and change. Not really relevant here, but the league innovates, and even if there's a tie after 90 minutes, they go to pens, so you are insured to see goals in some capacity. Here today, we haven't needed a proper penalty shootout, it seems. We have needed a penalty to decide things, but then Wabowo out of open play potentially making the difference. Someone who joined the academy at just 13 years of age. The talent recognition from the LAFC scouting department must be praised, because a large portion of their reserve squad contains academy products. And yeah, you can say, oh, well, they can make that an intentional priority and not consider talent. Well, then they wouldn't be fourth in the West right now and only surging up the table with the results here today. Develop players so well, and a lot of them flirting with professional aspirations. Linares picks out Jones-Riley here. He's looking for the return ball, and excellent last-ditch intervention from the center backs of LAFC 2. What a turnaround it has been for LAFC 2 this season. If they were to win here this afternoon, they would already be halfway to their entire point tally from last season. They would have done it in 6 matches after logging 28 in 28 a season ago. When talking to Junior Gonzalez, he mentioned that part of that is the introduction of more guys with experience, but also increased maturation of some of the academy products. A lot of players signed to professional or next pro deals this offseason. who had featured in spurts for LAFC2, but now have carved out regular roles and impressed. It's made for a winning combination. It has all coalesced so far for the black and gold. This is a loose ball back. Just has enough to carry it back to Muse. Three minutes of the initial 90 remain. A day that has been dominated by LAFC2. I'm just looking to see it out from here on out. Here's Santos, cutting inside. Enriquez. Fogasa. More frustrating afternoon after the brace on his debut. Here's Clegg. Charging up from center back. Caution to the wind now for Portland, and understandably so. Ordaz. It's one back by Enriquez. Fogasa has some options alongside. Drives it through for Linares. Kyle Linares! An excellent stop by Ochoa, who passes his first major test. And, well, may come off worse for wear after the shot as well. Best bit of interplay, it's Fogasa and Linares, the top two attacking playmakers for Portland. And I think it hit Ochoa in an unfortunate area. That's why he's still prone on the pitch. Got the wind knocked out of him. He's back up to his feet. Final minute of the 90. Pope. One final ball from Clegg. He overcooks it to Linares. And in a matter of moments, we'll find out how many minutes separate LAFC2 from another 3 points.
Substitution for LAFC2 in the 90th minute. Leaving the match, number 36.
Going to be one final change before all is said and done. Solid performance from Musto. He'll make way in the 90th. Be DeCarlo Guerra, the midfielder who replaces him, a like-for-like swap. 16-year-old. Be 6 minutes of added time. So it's a sizable amount for LAFC2 to lock up shop. Their first clean sheet hangs in the balance here. They've not secured one all season, believe it or not. Despite their unbelievable start to the campaign and despite how formidable they've looked defensively here this afternoon. Here's Najib for Portland Timbers too. Jones-Riley. Linares. Flashing cross, only as far as Enriquez. Stabbed away once again. Fogasa. He's running out of real estate, but one inside a corner. Still time for Timbers 2 to add some anxiety in the air at Titan Stadium. Fogasa will take it himself. Towards the back post, there's nobody home but Shakir Nixon. We'll draw the whistle as well. Najib may enter the referee's book. Great work by Nixon. Got rid of the initial ball and then won the set piece. And LAFC 2 could trade some more time off this clock. A performance which not only should earn the 3 points, it merits the 3 points.
Fans, a yellow card has been issued to Timber 2 player, number 38, Braxton Ali, in extra time.
Here's Najib. Just under 3 minutes left for LAFC 2 to see out a first clean sheet of the season. We'll have to weather at least one more set piece to do so. Braxton Najib, the substitute midfielder, came on in place of the injured Moreno. We'll whip this one in. Enticing ball towards Clegg at the back post. Harmlessly into the gloves of Ochoa, though. And for Portland, you figure the next time they win it, it is destination corner flag, the nearest one. It's a long-range hit from Mueller. Trying to draw the goalkeeper Muse off his line. Needed a little bit more on it, though. Penn. Fogasa. Looking on the 16-year-old DeCarlo Guerra, who wins it back admirably. Just unable to pick out the substitute frontman in Flores. Final minute of the added 6. The first clean sheet of the year beckons for LAFC 2. Adolfo Enriquez looking to change the script. Finds Linares. Santos. Enriquez. Still Enriquez. Closed down well. Finally hoofed away. Stays in play for Flores as well, who maneuvers in open space and awaits some runners. Nixon will run out the remaining added time. Perhaps time for one last opportunity for Timbers 2. Final whistle sounds. LAFC 2 secures all 3 points in this Western Conference clash. Tomas Angel scoring in the 40th from the spot, and Adrian Wibowo doubling the advantage in the 79th as a professional display allows the host to secure another 3 points and move one step closer to the top 3 of the Western Conference standings. Fans, today's man of the match is Tomas Angel of LAFC 2. It's presented by Adidas. Saw the penalty, which was won by Radovic, and then from there, Angel stepped up from 12 yards and slotted it home. A professional finish from the number 9, who just drove it underneath Trey Muse. He is our Adidas man of the match for the victorious LAFC 2 squad. Well, a dominant display from LAFC 2. They win 2-0 here this afternoon from Titan Stadium. A performance that they pretty much control the match for the full 90 minutes. And it's a deserved 3 points as they move closer to the top 3 of the Western Conference. Depending on results elsewhere, they could surge as high as second. Meanwhile, Timbers 2, they squander an opportunity to move back into the top 8 and put themselves in playoff position through 7 match days. We'd like to thank you for joining us here on MLSNextPro.com. For Sam Goldfarb saying so long from Titan Stadium. LAFC 2 prevails 2-0 here from Fullerton.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.